Okay, moving right on into the morning session here at Richmond International Raceway. It's my pleasure to have the driver of the number 83, E.J. Wade Construction Toyota for BK Racing. And that's Matt DiBenedetto. I got it right there, didn't I, Matt?
Yep, that was right.
Last week
Perfect.
I was trying to say it too fast because I was excited. Matt DiBenedetto, and he's got his owner up here with him, Ron Devine. Congratulations, gentlemen. Sixth place finish at Bristol last week. Career best for Matt, career best for that racing team. And let me tell you, there was a lot of excitement out on pit road last week at Bristol about your performance. And I'm going to start first with Ron. Ron is from not too far from here, he tells me, Burke, Virginia. And Ron, just talk about last week, the significance of that finish, and being able to come now to Richmond, which is certainly just an easy drive for you and your race team.
Well, it was special for us, and I know you saw it on pit road, and we were also emotional. You know, we have a lot of confidence in this guy right here, you know, and I say he's kind of like my guy because we found each other along the way, and we were excited to put him in a race car. We kind of took a chance on him, but he deserves it, and I think he showed it last week. And so, you know, think about it. We've been out here for 5 years, and that's our best finish. And so it was real emotional. And, you know, even with that last lap, we've taken the white flag in 10th, by the way, came back 25th. And this time he took it in 6th and came back 6th. And so it was really special for us, Gary. And I can't say enough about him and about this race team. It really speaks to how hard these guys worked all winter, putting the cars together, and just, you know, their commitment to make something happen. And then when it finally, we've had some success with it, it just felt great.
Well, I think it's just a testament of the hard work. It also just shows you in NASCAR that stories like this can happen. And Matt, talk about that finish, and I know you've had probably a little bit of a different week than you're normally used to, but talk about the finish at Bristol and how you want to build upon that moving forward.
Well, yeah, obviously, as Ron said, that was special for the whole team, and I think that was what I was most excited about, was not for myself but for my team, because we're like a family. You know, Ron and I are like family. We have a really close group here at BK Racing, and our whole team works together so well. And they work so hard. They put in countless hours during the week, do whatever's necessary, ultimately for me to be behind the wheel of a race car, which, you know, is a privilege. So I was excited for those guys. And then when I go into the race shop this week and see them telling stories about the weekend, and they're all smiling, and then they're coming up to me like, man, I was crying too, don't worry. So it was a really fun weekend. It meant a lot to the team, and that's, you know, good momentum. And if we can continue to take advantage of those good days when we have a good handling car and we hit it right, then we're, you know, going to have a good season. So I'm proud of them.
Good deal. We'll take questions now for Ron or Matt. If you have one, raise your hand. Lee Spencer, and then we'll go back to the back.
Lee Spencer. Ron, can you describe how insistent J.D. Gibbs was that you should put this guy into one of your cars?
You know, I'm glad you asked that. The first person that mentioned Matt DiBenedetto to me was J.D. Gibbs. And he said, Ron, this young man is special. And I have a lot of respect for the Gibbs organization. Joe and myself have been friends for many, many years. And so I said, well, let's take a look at him. We looked at his test times when he was over there, and then we started just examining him. And J.D. was the first one that said, hey, we really like this young man. He's special, and you should get him. And so, you know, for that, we thank you, J.D. Gibbs, you know, and wish you all the best with all the stuff you're going through. But, you know, that organization and us both being Toyota is a great relationship anyway. But just as a great friend, he was very kind to send Matt our way.
Let's go in the back. Brian's got one.
Brian Nelson with the Motor Racing Network. You have your ups and your downs. You had 4 cars in the 500. You had some smiling moments along the way, and then of course Bristol, and the downsides as well. So what does a run like you had last week do to get you through the down times and, you know, when things don't go as well as you'd hope?
Well, I think it is important, and I think it lifts the whole organization. It proves that they can do it. They can run with these guys, and I think that, I'm not gonna kiss him anymore. I will tell you that. I'm done doing that till he does something else. But I think it just makes us excited to continue on, and I think that at the end of the day, you have to have a reason to believe. And, we've had fast race cars. We've managed to mess them up each week. If you look at our Fontana car, he came from 3 laps down to be back on the lead lap. Now, he also slid through the pits. Okay, that wasn't any fun. And he backed over the rear tire changer's hose, and we ended up with a speeding penalty and a pit penalty and every other kind of penalty.
Rookie mistake.
A rookie, yeah. Well, he's not. It's only his second year.
I thought I was done with that last year. What the heck?
I thought you were done with that last year. What the heck? But it does lift the whole organization. And then Monday to see the shop and all those guys, let me tell you something. At 6 o'clock Monday morning, that parking lot was full. Those guys were excited to come back to work. And so from that perspective, you can't say enough good things about it. So let's hope we can back it up. We also had a nice finish at Phoenix, but we also had a fast car at Phoenix. It starts with a fast car, and that starts at the shop. That starts with Toyota. That goes back to the, what you do to get here. And then the report card is starting to look better for us. So we love it. Hopefully we can get some momentum from it. I don't think we'd have been in the media center if he hadn't run 6. So, but thank you for having us here today, and thanks for the question.
Take one right here, and then we'll go to David Scott. Go ahead.
Ron Temporell with the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Can you tell me how the local sponsorships came about with E.J. Wade and the Flying Squirrels and some of the other people?
So that gentleman standing behind you is Doug Fritz. You all know him from Richmond. He used to be the president of this place. He joined our organization a couple of months ago, and he's been working all day, every day to put sponsorships on the car. We're building that side of the business. We tried to get our performance in place. We tried to get our structure together, and now we're going out trying to build the business side of it. So I give a lot of credit for the stuff on the car to Doug. Matt's making it easier to sell. There's no question. We have Union Bank joining us this week as an associate sponsor, and they'll be here. EJ Construction that you mentioned. Sweet Frogs will be there, and also Science Logic, which is we're running our 93 car with Ryan. So we've got a fair amount of associates. I know Dave Moody was reading a list of them Monday on the radio. And so that's part of being successful in sport, is that those things happen. And so we're excited to be local, and it's a home track for us. And so you see us picking up a lot of sponsorships from our relationships. But I really give Doug a lot of credit for putting all that together. His team and his staff have done a nice job so far. He's only been at it a couple of months, and I think, better things are coming in that area.
Good deal. David Scott's got one, and then I think gentleman in the back.
David Scott from the Charlotte Observer. Matt, after the race, Carl Edwards said that he thought what you accomplished was tougher than what he accomplished. What do you think he meant by that?
That was really cool that he said that. That meant a lot. There's so many things that so many of the drivers said that was overwhelming how much support we had. And I think what he was meaning by that, it's cool. They understand, our situation. They understand that we're a smaller team and not working with the same resources they do. So they're kind of almost expected to win, the powerhouse teams. And but surely it is never easy to win in the Sprint Cup Series, and so Carl's an incredible driver along with all those guys. But it was cool that he paid such a compliment, knowing that a smaller team like us that we're growing to finish 6th, it was like a win and then some for us. So that was neat for him to say that, and Dale Jr. tweeted at me and was saying a lot of nice things. Mark Martin, Clint Boyer. I mean, it was, AJ Allmendinger on Race Hub, and Kenny Wallace, Michael Waltrip, Darrell Waltrip. I mean, the list just kept going on, and I was overwhelmed looking on Twitter at all these guys supporting, and then, and Kenny Wallace saying, "Let's vote Matt D in the All-Star race," and I mean, it was a crazy week. But going back to your question, for Carl to say that was very neat for us.
Let's go in the back. Go ahead, sir.
Back here in the back, Sean Robertson, CBS 6 here in town. Matt, for you, has this week been like a blur with all of the accolades you received off of the career finish at Bristol?
A little bit less sleep than normal, I'll tell you that. No, it's been cool. You know, it's neat to get the media attention again for the team and for sponsor purposes, and it's really cool that having EJ Wade Construction on the car and you know, having some new folks on the car to get them some good publicity. This is a good week for them to come on. I'm just happy that we can get them some good publicity. It helps our team as a whole, helps our morale. But for me, this week was definitely busy. I was on my phone, you know, pretty much every hour of the day. I was back-to-back radio interviews, and so it was cool. My wife may have not liked the lack of spending time together, but no, it was neat for all of us. She was like, "Man, you get to feel popular this week."
Let's go to Chris Knight, and then we'll go back to the back row. Go ahead.
Chris Knight, catchfence.com. Ron, in 2013, your driver, David Reagan, was able to pull off an upset win with a small team with his teammate. We head back there next weekend. Do you feel like that if all the dots connect, Matt and David could work together and possibly pull off another upset win?
Well, more important than me thinking that, I think David and Matt think that. So, you know, those plate races are anybody's game. The key is to stay out of trouble and be there at the end and be in a position. I like the fact that David knows how to do that. Him and Matt work real well together. And we are excited. You know, we're focused right now on Richmond, but we've got some good cars already built for Talladega, and we'll see. We'll see what happens down there. But, yeah, we're excited to go there and give it a shot.
Go ahead, sir.
Chip Briere here with 8 News in Richmond. Matt, it's been a great week. We just established that, and you've spent all that time talking about it. But now you're here at Richmond, and the big headline is the switch from night to day racing. What has you excited for that, and does that change your procedure, your process as you get ready for race day?
Yeah, it'll be a little bit different racing during the day at Richmond. From my experience of racing in the day due to rain last year, it gets quite a bit more slick. It's actually a big change because this track does get pretty worn out. Tires fall off a lot more. And then when you race during the day, it exaggerates that a lot. But, you know, everybody's in the same situation. So no big deal there. It won't change our game plan too much. You know, we'll try and practice when we do race trim stuff, focus a little more on long runs and making sure it hangs in there. But no, I'm excited to come here. This is, you know, short track racing is my whole background of racing. It's what I grew up doing. So anytime we come to a short track, it's, you know, right at home and comfortable for me. So I'm excited.
Let's go to Paul Woody, and then Sean has another question.
Matt, Paul Woody, Richmond Times-Dispatch. 2 years ago, you did quite a bit of racing on the Xfinity circuit. I know you're not doing that now, but what do you think of the new format, the Dash for Cash, the heat racing? Would you have liked to have been part of that 2 years ago? What does that add to the series?
I really like it. I'm a big fan of it. I think it's cool, and it brings you back to the older days. Reminds you of some dirt racing. It ties in a lot of things together. So now, and you know, Dash for Cash, all of it just makes it more exciting to watch. You know, and more exciting as a driver, and more intense. And I think, you know, we saw at Bristol, the racing was great in the Xfinity series as well. You know, both series had great racing. So, and especially being with the heat races and then the main event, I guess you call it, being shorter. So everybody was kind of on go mode from the beginning. So it's cool. I like the format a lot.
Take one more question. Back in the back. Sean?
Matt, back here again. I'm trying to remember, did you set a record down in Bristol, like the youngest driver to win down there at 16?
Yeah. I was 16 years old when I won at Bristol Motor Speedway in a late model in a UARA Stars touring race. So obviously from that day forward, that place had a little bit of a special place in my heart, and it's typically been pretty good to me.
We love Bristol.
The biggest accomplishment, finishing 6th Sunday or setting the record in the late model series?
Man, everything at that place has been cool, but honestly, as far as you know, more of a dream come true standpoint, it was cool to to win there, of course, and be able to drive on top of the building. But man, it was really hard to beat, finishing 6th in a Cup race and competing with guys that I've looked up to my whole life since I was a kid. And I bought their merchandise when I was a kid at racetracks, going to my first NASCAR races. So that's a little bit tough to beat the 6th place finish last week.
Ron Devine and Matt DiBenedetto, congratulations on a great week last week at Bristol, and let's keep that going.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all very
Thanks
much.
for having us.
Bye-bye.